the reason why you may think low key that this is a black film is because a deep secret that I learned in doing the research for this film. Gabrielle Union pointed out that because the clovers and the camaraderie that all of the girls showed in their very brief scenes together tested so well with this film, they actually went back and filmed additional scenes, not for the movie.
That's right.
They filmed additional scenes that could be edited into the trailer for the film, so that you would go to the movie thinking that you're going to have more of the clovers than you actually really do. They are barely in this movie.
YUNKJunk!
Welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I am joined as always by my partner.
Hey, holla at your boy. This is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble.
And here in the midst of this hot, sticky, steamy summer season, we're keeping it summery, keeping it a little light in the month of July. And we are going to spend some time with the year 2000's very, very black film, Bring It On. A black film about black culture chosen by my co-host, Lynn Webb.
This is so not fair.
This black film was directed by Peyton Reed and written by Jessica Benninger. It stars Kirsten Dunst, Eliza Dushku, Jesse Bradford, and fourth on the card, young ingenue, Gabrielle Union.
We'll talk about that.
Gabrielle Union. This was the choice of Lynn Webb.
We'll talk about it.
But before we get to the just it's like potato salad that Big Mama made and brought to a repast black film, Bring It On. How are you, Lynn?
I'm trying to think did anybody bring potato salad to? Anyway, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Fine. Shout out to each and every one of you out there watching us as we are streaming live from YUNKJunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. This is episode 401 of the Micheaux Mission.
Wow.
Yes.
Right. Because
last
week,
that? While we were back last week, it was actually our final episode of Spock Adjacent.
Last
week, as we gave a retrospective of Star Trek Discovery. And now we are back in movie review mode.
Black movie review mode, actually.
Technical. Yes, black films.
Black films.
That we are going to be reviewing for each and every one of you out there watching us as we stream on Instagram, Twitter, or X, choose your name, Facebook, as well as YouTube. And shout out to all the missionaries in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
All right. We're going to, it's been, even though we were back last week, it feels like it was like 2 weeks. It feels like so long since we've been.
It feels like, right. And even episode 400, love as much as we love Dorian. Mm-hmm. It is like it's a guest.
Yeah.
There, so you kind of, it's like,
so now it's
just sort of us back in the house.
Back in the house.
Yeah.
Amen. You know who else is back in the house, Vincent?
Who was that?
That would be speaking of ingenues, Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Who is back in the house of Beverly Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
Axel F.
Which actually premiered last week on Netflix. This is a film that, rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get the full Micheaux Mission review sometime later down the line. Giving each and every one of you a chance to catch up on this action flick that stars many of the stars, returning stars from the Beverly Hills Cop series. But Vincent, I know that you took this film. Did you watch it? Actually, I think it premiered on July 3rd. Did you watch it on the day that it premiered?
I didn't watch it on the day it premiered. I probably watched it on the 5th.
Okay.
Right, because it was the 4th of July and then it was the 5th.
Right.
And just to add to that, besides some of the returning stars, you also had 2 additions.
Yes, you did.
To the Beverly Hills family, and that would be
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, as well as Taylor Page.
Yes.
Yes. And in the villain role,
yes,
one Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of Beverly Hills real quick?
You know, two disclaimers, you know, first and foremost, even though I think I've been pretty forthright about my disappointment with Eddie Murphy in something like Candy Cane Lane and You People, which we did formal reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Did we I don't know if we did Candy Cane Lane formally.
Yes, we did for Christmas.
Oh, so we talked about those. And informally, I was very disappointed in his performance in Coming to America.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there is this sort of ambient sentiment that I'm in the bag for Eddie Murphy, including in my house.
Really?
So, you know, and I'll take that.
Okay.
The second disclaimer is, which ironically sort of contradicts what I just said. Quietly, I've never been the biggest Beverly Hills Cop guy.
Of any of them?
Of any of them. Like when we talk about the classic Eddie Murphy films, it is my least favorite. Like you know, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, as far as next to 48 Hours or Trading Places or Coming to America or Boomerang or even
Golden Child.
No, not the Golden Child. Even Harlem Nights.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it's my least favorite.
It's not the one that you return to.
It's not the one I return to. So my bar was quietly not that high.
You know, I think I land that same there as well with Beverly Hills Cop, the original. And I think it's because of something about the aesthetics of it, the way it's shot, the music that accompanies it a little bit, and also that it's like so steeped in that era that it probably, of all the films, seems the most dated, like immediately.
Wow. That's a really interesting observation. Like, as you were saying it, I was thinking, yeah, because 48 Hours is damn near like a fable.
Right.
And I mean, well, I'm sorry, 48 Hours is just like a crime film. And then Trading Places is like a fable almost, and it's kind of timeless. Oh, that's interesting.
And speaking of fable, Trading Places also has a little bit. Did you say Trading Places? Yeah.
But having said that, I thought it was solid. Like
Axel F.
I thought Axel F was solid. The reason I wanted to point out the 2 additional cast members, I think when you have these legacy properties, oftentimes the weak link is immediately the new cast.
People. Yeah.
Because people are there for the member berries and to see. But Gordon.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I love him, period.
And I've always liked him. And one thing about him, you kind of knew he had comedy chops just from, you know, 30 Rock and everything.
Third Rock.
Third Rock. Ever since Inception, I've wanted him to do more action.
Oh, really?
I thought he was so good in Inception that quite honestly, I always wanted him to have Ryan Reynolds' career.
Okay.
Like a little Ryan Reynolds quietly goes, like I got about 45 minutes in me with Ryan Reynolds, and then it's like, all right, that's enough of you. So I liked him as this sort of action sort of foil for Eddie Murphy. Like I liked them together. And then I thought Taylor Page as
his daughter
was actually an amazing casting choice. Because I, you know, always loved Taylor Page. Like we talked about her with Gene and the Joneses, and always liked her. And I thought she really captured what Axel Foley's daughter would be like. Like kind of really, really smart, really, really kind of witty. The fact that they were estranged, you could tell she kind of had this inner struggle of I'm like my dad, but I hate being like my dad. So I thought she captured that really well. Also, something that we've talked about when we've talked about Eddie Murphy movies, I think Eddie Murphy quietly has more in common with Whoopi Goldberg in the 80s than we acknowledge. Like, he's pretty asexual in most of his films.
That's
Boomerang, he's a romantic lead.
yes.
You can say he's a romantic lead in Coming to America, but even Coming to America
Because
is
it was
more
being so comedic.
and it's just a really kind of sweet film.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really sexualized in Coming to America.
Yeah.
But you think about Eddie Murphy.
Well, Harlem Nights.
He's got that one scene with Jasmine Guy.
No, okay. All right.
He doesn't have a love interest in 48 Hours.
No.
He doesn't have a love interest in Trading Places.
No.
He doesn't have a love interest in Beverly Hills Cop.
No. He doesn't really have a love interest in Golden Child.
No. Eddie Murphy, as an 80s actor, again, he was really kind of...
Yeah, there really is.
Which,
Boomerang.
when you think about Eddie Murphy, oh, he's charming, he's this, that, other. Like, you cut off this whole part.
Mm-hmm.
So him having this estranged daughter and trying to kind of get back in her good graces, I liked that energy. It's one of these legacy sequels. So, you know, you got to have the remember this guy, remember that guy. And there's certainly that in here. But as far as that goes, you know, on a scale of 1 to something like, again, Coming to America, maybe a 6 or 7. Like I thought they showed way more restraint than I thought they would.
Mm.
I loved Kevin Bacon.
Well, I like Kevin Bacon.
Like I love Kevin Bacon as the villain that you know immediately is the villain.
Well, yeah.
But I love the fact that everybody in the film said it. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that as soon as Axel Foley sees him, he says, this guy is clearly crooked.
Right.
And then, you know, so, you know, like, I thought it was solid.
Okay, you don't have to give you a review.
Right. Was it 2 hours?
It's 2 hours. It's a little over.
There are worse ways to spend 2 hours.
That's true.
I certainly think I don't like you can certainly drink and eat while you're watching it. Like, this isn't like you had to be leaned up.
No, you're not going to miss anything.
You're not going to miss anything. Talk about low bar. I think this is as engaged as Eddie Murphy has been since Dolomite.
Mm.
Like it seems like he actually was sort of like, you get the sense that Eddie Murphy thinks that that Beverly Hills Cop is his legacy. Like, you know, Coming to America, I got the sense he was like, Granddaddy, do that trick again. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody was happier to be here than him. But, you know, I thought it was solid. It was like a 6 or 7. 6. It was all right.
Okay. Well, there you go.
All right.
Very good.
And you?
I wouldn't land on 6. I'm happy. I like Taylor Page. I like Taylor Page in here. I'm a huge Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know if you ever saw the film. You want Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing action. If you haven't seen it, look. You should see Looper.
Oh, I love Looper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looper is at work.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I like Kevin Bacon. Eddie seems like he's awake in this movie, as opposed to how he's kind of sleepwalks for most of the films since Dolomite. You know, it's okay. It's all right. You know, I'll give my review when we actually give our review. Right. I'm not going to tear it down. People go check it out. It's out there. It's on Netflix. So it's easy to find. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. Go check it out.
I will say this, you and I talked about this for a quick second. I think it's a really interesting, inadvertent double feature with Bad Boys 4.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Because I think both films kind of deal with these guys aging.
It's interesting.
Like these sort of aging detectives, and not for nothing. It really illustrates, like, one of the funnier parts, because I watched all the Bad Boys again to get to 4, and I think one of the more fascinating, and I don't know if it's deliberate themes, they're actually not good detectives.
Wow.
Like they just beat up people and shoot people.
Yes.
But as far as
they're bad boys.
Right. But as far as there's a mystery, they're not really that good at their job.
Right.
But Axel Foley is a detective.
He's a good cop.
Like he's actually smart.
He's police.
So him getting older kind of works. Like I ain't doing all that running around. Like that's not what I do.
The other thing I haven't seen, to be fair, I haven't seen Bad Boys 3 or 4. So
also solid.
So I'm only going off of the trailer.
Sure, solid.
But the one thing that I notice of the trailer is that as Martin Lawrence and Will Smith have gotten older, surprisingly in these films, their hair has gotten darker.
That's actually a plot point.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, that's actually a plot point.
I would hope so. Because
and
the one thing
I think 3, where
it's probably Martin Lawrence making a comment.
Martin Lawrence's character says to Mike Lowry, Mike Lowry. That's Will. He says, "Dude, you're dyeing your goatee."
Right.
He's like, "I'm not dyeing." He said, "You're clearly dyeing your goatee." And it's like, and then something happens in the film where they see it. Right. So yeah, that's a plot point.
Okay. All right. Is it a plot point in 4?
Well, the plot point is, you Mike Lowry, but Negro, you're 50 years old.
Yeah.
Like you're not the cool guy in the club. No, you are 50 years old.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, that's a plot point.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. Because one thing that I appreciated about Eddie Murphy is that Eddie Murphy is 62.
Yeah.
And while he doesn't look 62 because he's black.
Yes. It's like African American skin doesn't age as quickly as you think it would based on that person's age.
Exactly.
Someone should come up with a snappy rhyme. It's like a snappy rhyme for that. African American skin doesn't show age the way that one thinks that it would based on how old they are.
It doesn't calcify. I don't know.
Something. But somebody work on that.
The beautiful thing. Make that happen, missionaries. But the beautiful thing about Eddie is that he looks and acts his age in this film. Yes. And there's commentary on it.
You get like a healthy trot.
Yes.
Like Axel Foley has a healthy trot.
Yes. And trot, you're being generous.
Right. We're gonna let Gordon
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
We're gonna let him do all that running and jumping.
Yeah. I mean, Judge Reinhold disappears for the entire movie. Like, I'll just be here.
See?
Sitting in this chair.
Right. So,
but anyway, so that's Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Axel F. Go check that out, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's get into our show, which means it's been too long since we've heard from you, our missionaries. So it's time for your emails, or as we like to call them,
Missives from the Missionaries.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the Missionaries, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to each and every one of you who has been sending us emails in the past couple of weeks. We will not have time to get through all of them, but I have selected a few of them to go through, and we're going to start with Anthony Davis.
Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Who sent us an email, 6 Degrees of Spock.
Okay.
Hey, guys, listening to your latest final episode of Spock Adjacent, I felt compelled to complete the challenge of connecting Megan Good to Spock. After an arduous moment of internet-free mental contemplation over a hearty breakfast of Chick-fil-A sandwich, Chick-fil-A chicken minis, and sweet tea.
All right.
That is not the breakfast of champions, Anthony.
I can hear your diabetes from over here.
My man, you need to be living better, bruh. Chick-fil-A chicken minis and sweet tea for breakfast? Like what on earth could be lunch?
To the rest of the letter, please, Mom.
Yes, quick before his arteries harden. I've connected the beautiful and effervescent Megan Good. Well, tell us how you really feel. To the brainy and ever logical Spock.
Okay.
Megan Good was one of the stars of Think Like a Man.
Yes.
Her co-star and love interest was Romani Malco,
Okay.
that vampire, my word, not Anthony's,
Yeah.
who also starred in The 40-Year-Old Virgin with Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Seth Rogen played an alien in the titular role of Paul with Simon Pegg, who we all know played the lovable Scotty in the 2009 version of Star Trek. This Star Trek starred both Zachary Quinto and Leonard Nimoy as Spock. Live long and prosper, missionaries, Anthony.
Very nice, Anthony.
Well done, Anthony. Very, very, very nice. All right. You did connect it to the Star Trek brand of films that Vincent refuses to acknowledge ever existed, but that's fine.
I do.
That's fine.
And it's a shame because Simon Pegg is maybe the best part of him.
He's good. I wouldn't say he's the best part.
Better than Simon Pegg.
But that's because you don't like Chris Pine.
I do like Chris Pine.
Well, you don't like Chris Pine as Kirk?
Right. I actually like him so much that I dislike Kirk even more. Like, I've found out since then that he can actually act.
Well, I think he's the best part. I do. I think he's the best part. You said what? What are you making me?
So, like, you like walk past the saltines and say, I want the unsalted saltines?
What are you talking about?
He's just there.
Chris Pine? I think
in Star Trek, yes.
I think he's good. I think he's the best.
Okay, all right.
But I got room. I got a lot of room for Simon Pegg. He probably is. It would be Chris Pine, and then I probably go Keith Urban as McCoy, and then I go Simon Pegg.
I like him better than Chris Pine.
Fair.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Who do you think is a better Kirk? Strange New Worlds dude or Chris Pine?
Chris Pine. But I'll tell you my reason. I'll tell you my sole reason.
Okay.
The Strange New Worlds guy is a good actor.
Yes.
I think Chris Pine has more charisma than the Strange New Worlds guy and is better looking, which keeps him more in that. Because say what you want about William Shatner, he's got charisma and he's not a bad looking guy.
He's not a bad looking guy. Chris Pine is leaning on being a good looking guy. Like that's his whole hand.
I don't think
in Star Trek, because I do think he's a good actor. I actually really like Chris Pine.
I disagree with you in that regard. I think he's doing work.
All right.
In there.
All right, go ahead. What's next?
All right, so I think you would say Strange New World guy.
Oh yeah. Kirk. Yeah, I actually really like what he's doing with Kirk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I wasn't planning on liking it.
Well, no.
Yeah,
none of us were.
So.
All right. We also got an email from Nicole Sherman.
Hey, Nicole.
Which asked the question, did soul food set the template for Tyler Perry movies? Greetings, Len and Vince. Before I start, I want to recommend a film for both of you to check out. It is called Young Soul Rebels, and you can watch it on the Criterion Channel. It is a Black British coming-of-age thriller that explores different groups in the 70s. It was released in 1991. I know of this film, and I will be checking that out, and it will be coming your way soon on The Mission.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicole.
I know it is not Thanksgiving quite yet, but I decided to go down a rabbit hole and watch Vanessa L. Williams in Soul Food and remember how easy of an eye this woman is. I think she meant on the eye. Truly fine and beautiful. I then watched a review of the movie Soul Food on YouTube. Fun fact, the iconic Family Fucked My Husband by Vanessa Williams was not in the script, and everyone's reaction to Faith screwing Michaels was real.
Yeah.
I love how Vanessa stated she encouraged George Tillman, the director, to allow those lines to be in the movie and supported him as a director. As I was watching the review of Soul Food on YouTube, I saw a comment that can lead into a conversation between the both of you. Was Soul Food, the movie, a blueprint for future Tyler Perry movies? I would love to hear your thoughts. This new episode on the movie Bring It On should be tested on the new Micheaux test. Have a good rest of the week. Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
So what do you say, Vincent, about her query whether or not soul food provides a blueprint for Tyler Perry movies?
This is actually a really big conversation.
Okay.
And I think it goes back to, at least the 70s, this sentiment of a family. And I'm assuming she's talking about like that Tyler Perry convention of sort of the black middle class is separate than the rest of the family. And the working class people are more authentically black and this type of thing. That, the irony is that I think soul food complicates it. And we talked about it when we reviewed soul food. Like Vanessa Williams, like Terry is actually one of my favorite characters in black film because she's such a complicated character. But I think Tyler Perry probably pulled from that, but I also think this is a sentiment that you see, even on like episodes of like Good Times.
Right.
Where it's like the friend who went away to college or the friend that got the good job comes back and they're very, I say, it's all this kind of nonsense. So I'm sure Tyler Perry watched Soul Food a lot.
Yeah.
I think, to be as politic as I can right now, I think there's a lot of things that influence Tyler Perry.
Oh, yes.
It's a lot of,
yes.
I think.
And he's not above showing his influences.
Right.
Let out.
Right.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Right.
So, yeah,
it's like, ooh, I know what movies Tyler Perry watched last year.
Right. But the other thing I will say about soul food, as good as soul food is that soul food is a movie that really rests on the chemistry of the actors and their camaraderie with one another, because the story is just the story.
Sure.
And it is a story that is, quite honestly, as old as time. There's nothing like super complicated about that story.
Sure.
So it really is. So to be fair to Tyler Perry, I'm sure it probably imprinted itself a little bit on his mind.
Sure.
But it's basically like a basic story. He could have pulled that from watching, elements of that same type of story from watching Brady Bunch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, maybe not Brady Bunch.
Okay, maybe not the Brady
But
Bunch.
definitely Good Times.
Definitely Good Times, the Jeffersons, What's Happening.
Right. Again, it's and I don't want to go too far with it. But I am fascinated by how pop culture reflected that moment, that kind of that like 5 years after the civil rights movement, where so many black people went to college, so many black people got quote unquote good jobs, not black jobs, good jobs.
Yeah.
And there was this tension that you saw in I think in real life to a certain degree, not as much as I think people fictionalize it, but then you saw it in movies and you saw it on television and just here on our show, like we've talked about films like Black Girl or the aforementioned Soul Food, which is kind of set 15, 20 years later once these tropes are in place or what's my movie with Alfre Woodard? It's like Alfre Woodard and she goes to stay with her father and her father does like chicken sausage, not Mississippi masala. Not Mississippi. It's something Mississippi, I think.
Okay. Hold on.
It's
you can look at the chat and see if people
right.
pop that up. But
it's like Wesley Snipes is in one scene because Wesley Snipes is the bougie one, and like Anne Marie Johnson plays his wife.
Isn't he always the bougie one?
Well, not Wesley Snipes, but Anne Marie
that's
Johnson, certainly.
That movie that I don't see anybody piping up in the chat for is not seeing it here. Mississippi Grind.
Mississippi what?
Mississippi Grind.
It's not Mississippi Grind. It's Alfre Woodard.
I see Alfre
She's a
Woodard.
star.
Oh, no, that's not it.
What's my man's name that played Malcolm X? Played Elijah Muhammad in Malcolm X. Down in the Delta.
Oh, Down in the Delta.
Down in the
Okay.
Delta. Like you see a little bit of it in Down in the Delta.
I never saw that film.
It's not bad.
I never saw that
Yeah,
film.
it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. But you know,
Wow, you know who directed that movie?
I don't know who directed, but didn't Maya Angelou write it?
Perhaps, but she directed it.
She directed it too?
It's her only film, her
Yeah.
only director.
Yeah, I remember she wrote it. Mhm.
Wow. And this is Esther Rolle's final film.
And she is excellent in it.
Is she? I'm not an Esther Rolle fan.
Look, I didn't know I was an Esther Rolle fan until Down in the Delta.
Okay.
Because she's clearly the villain in Good Times.
Clearly. All right.
Oh, James, I don't like what you're doing that might get us out of this cycle of poverty. I'd much rather just stay here and hope that white Jesus gets us out of it.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. She used to piss me off so much.
She pissed me off too. I'm
Like,
not an Esther
come
Rolle fan.
on, Florida.
I'm not an Esther Rolle fan.
Oh,
Not an Esther
I
Rolle
don't know
fan.
about an Esther Rolle fan, but I wasn't a Florida fan.
One of my favorite moments in movie history
Okay.
is she is in I just drew a blank on the movie, the Denzel Washington movie takes place. He's a Jamaican cop.
Oh, the Mighty Quinn.
She's
She's in the Mighty Quinn?
I believe she's in the Mighty Quinn because she burns up in a house in the Mighty Quinn.
Wow, that's dark.
That's
a lot.
I love that.
Oh.
I'd live for that moment.
So Cheryl Lee Ralph is all glowy and brown, but that's what you remember
I
about
remember
the Mighty
Esther
Quinn.
Rolle burning up,
That is
and
terrible.
you hear her hollering.
Oh, that
as
is
she
horrible.
Frying.
She is excellent down in the Delta.
She's excellent in
What?
Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh my God.
But she also dies
I forgot she
at
was
the
in
kitchen table.
You know what? She's not bad in Driving Miss Daisy.
No, she's not.
She's not bad in Driving
No,
Miss
she's
Daisy.
not. And she dies.
She's better than both of the leads in Driving Miss Daisy, if you ask me.
all
I'm
right,
just saying.
all right. We're going to continue
Yeah,
with
she's
the
not
email.
bad in Driving Miss
We're going to
Daisy.
continue with
I
the
forgot.
emails.
We should do Down in the Delta.
We should.
Yeah, we should do Down in the Delta. Okay, that's coming up. I think that's the takeaway.
All right.
We're going to do Down in the Delta.
We got an email from Michael Lockett.
What's up, Michael?
Subject, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. Len and Vince, I hope the summer is kicking off right for you both. Congrats on getting to 400. It's no small feat, and you guys have done it with style, class, and many laughs. Thank you from me and I believe all the missionaries.
Thank you, sir.
Michael. 1001 film that we reviewed on our 400th episode with Dorian Missick was a great film. This piece is shocking because of how deep the storytelling is. We get so many different ideas and representations of Black womanhood that is mind-blowing. It's a shame that this film didn't get more shine because it's truly a wonderful piece. You two and Dorian did a banging critique. Thank you, Michael. Actually,
Thank you, sir.
after we reviewed that film, I forget, my sister was asking me for she was staying home one day and she was asking for a couple of films to watch. And I suggested to her both Miss Juneteenth and 1001.
A double feature.
And she absolutely loved
Double
both
feature.
of them.
Yeah.
Both of them. Michael continues, on my time travels, I listened to and rewatched The Girl with All the Gifts.
So good.
I'm glad I listened to the episode before my rewatch, as now I was hip to a few nuances that I missed back in the day. This is also a great nuanced piece. Its race switch from book to film brought the conversation on many fronts to a higher level. This is beyond a zombie flick. It is an excellent movie.
Yeah, The Girl with All the Gifts is amazing.
I love
Love that
an
movie.
excellent film.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a good film for
October.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, table it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But you're 100% right. Yeah.
Here's a quick genre dissection question for you too.
Okay.
Taking documentaries out of the equation,
Okay.
which genre do you feel offers the most open and thought-provoking questioning of society? I always want it to be dramas, but I find that when hard topics are tackled in drama, they are watered down to protect the not so innocent. I end up returning to horror, where writers and directors are given the freedom to present ideas and systems in ways that are engaging, real, and palatable. All the best, Michael. That's a good question.
I'm always going science fiction.
I would lean on science fiction.
I'm always going science fiction.
You know, that freedom that he is mentioning in horror.
Yeah.
I think it does live in horror, but I think because of the nature of the genre, there is always that want to still make sure that you're instilling some type of thrill or scare into to people, or at least to make them feel a little disturbed. Whereas in science fiction, it can be disturbing as well, but first and foremost, you're trying to be provocative, trying to get people thinking about something.
Yeah. I was pulling out my phone real quick because I don't want to mess the brother's name up. Obviously we're science fiction fans, but I think social critique is dealt with in science fiction so well. Like I'm thinking about just recently, like you and I are both fans of the show that is coming back, knock on wood, in a couple of months, Severance on Apple TV, which is the greatest critique of just work and work life and the way work in these companies that I've seen in forever. And I just finished a book that came out last year, Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah, about the prison system. It's science fiction but it's about the prison system, and it was remarkable.
Really?
And I started reading him. My niece actually hit me to him a few years ago. He had a collection of short stories called Friday Black, which also kind of dealt with racism and capitalism and all these things. And I'm not running into this being handled in other genres as sharply as I see with a lot of the science fiction that we're seeing now. And not to say that it doesn't exist. I'm not in charge of what comes out, but like when I think about the real insightful kind of commentary and critique that occurs, it has usually been science fiction.
Yeah. I'm immediately thinking about Black Mirror.
I mean, Black Mirror. Yeah. Black Mirror is I'm a Black Mirror dude.
Oh.
So yeah.
All right.
So.
All right, there you go, Michael. All right, we got a couple more.
Okay.
We have an email that we received, and actually, if I remember correctly, it has a film suggestion, yes, from Shakira Penrose.
Hey, Shakira.
Hey, guys, I just want to start this email by saying a huge thank you for starting this amazing podcast and putting in the work to review every Black film ever made. I've found so many gems through listening to the podcast. I can't seem to find it in your back catalog, so I may already have my answer, but I wondered if you guys had ever seen or reviewed Dry Long So by Colleen Smith and Salim Akil. If not, I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Please add it to your list. Keep up the awesome work, Shakira Penrose. Are you familiar with the film Dry Long So?
I am not.
Now, this film is from 1998.
Okay.
The synopsis: alarmed at the number of young Black men around her dying, brash Oakland art student Pika begins taking photographs to preserve their existence.
Oh, I have heard.
She forms a new friendship and is drawn into the search for a serial killer.
Yeah. I've not seen it, though.
No, I've not seen this film.
Yeah.
from 1998, as I mentioned, stars Toby Smith, Salim Akil, April Barnett, and Stacey Marbury. Not familiar with it,
No.
but I'm definitely interested in checking it out.
Yeah, thank you, Shakira.
I'm definitely interested in checking it out.
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
And it is part of the Criterion collection,
Oh, okay.
or at least it's on their website.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look.
All right. Well,
Look, excellent.
enough said.
Yeah.
All right. So dry, long, so.
Okay.
Shakira. All right. And we have one last email.
Okay.
We heard from Michael Lockett,
Uh-huh.
so it would not be complete. We did not hear from our other Michael correspondent. That would be one Michael Sykes.
The two Michaels, it's like a 70s neo-noir. The two Michaels.
Yes.
Right.
Who would play the two Michaels in the 70s neo-noir?
So hot.
Didn't mean to throw a bit at you.
It's
The subject line is Love New Barbarians, Hate Radio.
The New Barbarians.
Hello, Len and Vincent. I watched y'all review on Theodore Rex. And there was a segment y'all did on that episode called Top 5 Bad Black Career Moves. And Cuba Gooding Jr. was number 4. And Vincent dogged him about the movie Radio.
Not as bad as they did in Tropic Thunder.
To me, Radio was an okay movie that was based on the true story of James Robert Kennedy. It won and was nominated for awards. Let me get this straight. Vincent hates Radio.
I do.
But loves The New Barbarian,
The New
starring Fred
Barbarian.
Williamson.
When Fred Williamson would come on, you knew Fred Williamson because they started playing the black people bass music. He would come into the video, bonk, bonk, bonking, bonk. It's a black guy coming in the scene right now. It's a black guy.
A film that has a what the hell rape scene in it? Vincent praised the music and the costume,
Okay, the rape
and
one
also recommended this movie, which was horrible, except for the Fred Williamson intro theme, and that's it. Picking it over a Johnson Family Vacation and Who's the Man, Vincent, make it make sense.
I'm complicated. I expect different things.
I like cheap post-apocalypse movie too, such as my favorite, World Gone Wild, starring Bruce Dern, Alan Autry, aka Bubba in The Heat of the Night, and Julius Shonuff Carey. Vincent,
That's a deep cut right there.
it's a very deep cut, very deep cut. This is Michael's question, not mine. Vincent,
Sure.
if you had to recast Radio, who would you have play James Robert Radio Kennedy, and why? Still love y'all's show. Your fan, Michael.
I know we're all angry at him, and we're not supposed to talk about him. But I think Jonathan Majors, and I'm thinking about him in The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Alluding to Tropic Thunder, which is funny, but I thought had a lot of insight. I think it's very difficult to play someone who has mental challenges and still maintain a level of dignity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's very difficult to play one of those roles and it's not spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there's a stillness and depth that Jonathan Majors brought to his character in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and quietly in Dumbass Creed 4.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Where there's this
I see it.
real interiority there
Mm-hmm.
in his physical performance
Mm-hmm.
that if someone would, for some reason, want to remake Radio, which
Should never happen.
Like, I don't know what's happening in this room where they're making decisions. But like, yeah, I think the first person that popped in my head was Jonathan Majors. There you go. I probably answered that much more seriously than Michael expected.
You did. You did. Because I was saying Jimmy J.J. Walker.
You're thinking Jimmy J.J. Walker? Boy, you know what, Lynn? And I know we be going long. I know we go long.
We just talked about this.
I just said I went down a rabbit hole. So somehow, and I don't know how it started, but somehow I ended up on a link to the pilot of Bustin' Loose, the show.
Oh, because he was on that, wasn't he?
He was the lead.
Yeah, he was.
He played
cast in the
Richard Pryor's part.
role.
And Vanetta McGee plays Cicely Tyson's part.
Yes.
Which then sent me down this rabbit hole.
Ooh, that's a flip.
Jimmy Walker was in like 4 or 5 failed shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had like 2 or 3 episodes and then they just went away. Like he kept
Post Good Times.
Oh, this is all post Good Times.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was no money from Good Times.
Well, it's not so much that there was no money from Good Times, even though syndication
like, how can I say this as gently? Like, did Jimmy Walker really think he was going to keep making shows?
Well, first of all, it's not fair to say that did Jimmy Walker think that. It's more fair to say that the people think that they might be able to parlay.
He would parlay,
because he had name recognition
into.
I don't know if you paid attention, but like I would be curious how many of those shows were within the first 5 to 6 years after Good Times.
Right. So like early 80s. But yeah,
Right.
they were all like by 83, 84. But
yeah, so like, you're thinking that he still got some name recognition.
Sure.
Say what you want. Good Times ran a few years.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was the lead.
Sure.
Sure. He was cheaper.
Sure.
Than probably anybody else at that time.
And it's during my favorite little TV history period that we've talked about. Like, I love black television, like that post Norman Lear, pre-Cosby Show period, like that weird period in the late 70s all the way up till like what's Cosby, like 84, 85?
Around there, yeah.
Where it was just... Like, how is this?
They're just trying.
Like, what is this?
Yeah. And you think about it, Jimmy Walker couldn't get a hit, right?
Right.
It makes sense to me because as many bites of the apple as he had, he had these 4 bites of the apple. There is a man who I think single-handedly may be one of the 10 funniest people to ever walk this earth. Tim Conway. Tim Conway had maybe 10 failed television pilots.
Interesting.
Could never get a show. He couldn't. I think maybe he got like a half a season of maybe 1 or 2 of those shows, but could almost never find his way to a hit. And you couldn't put together a show
for Tim
Conway that's going to work.
Yeah.
No way you're going to make Jimmy J.J. Walker work.
Right.
So I'm not surprised by that.
I would not have chosen Jimmy Walker for the remake of Radio.
Well,
all right.
Well, it's BET presents
right
Radio.
So you doing a jokey joke with the Radio. You doing jokey
What
joke.
else?
Right. That's what Cuba Gooding Jr. did.
Did you see the movie?
Oh, I saw Radio.
I've never seen the movie.
It's exactly what you think it is.
It's why I've never seen it.
Okay, all right.
And don't plan on it.
Oh, May's coming.
Oh, you're right, because we didn't really do. Okay, May's coming.
All right.
Find a Jimmy J.J. Walker movie. All right. So that's our emails, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, but he mentioned Julia Shonuff Carey in one of those emails. And if you like Mr. Carey, then you can join us on August 1st, ladies and gentlemen, as the Micheaux Mission and the Be Real Black Cinema Club kick off part 3 of the Be Real Micheaux screening series at Bryn Mawr Film Institute Thursday, August 1st, where we will be screening The Last Dragon, starring Julius Shonuff Carey, Vanity, and a man named Timac. Tickets are on sale right now at brynmarfilm.org. Check them out. I think there are a couple of seats left. I mean, so go pick them out, because this everybody's coming to Bryn Mawr to see The Last Dragon.
It's true.
Vincent will be there. I will be there. Our good friend Stephanie will be there. We'll do a post talk about The Last Dragon. Y'all can all tell me where I'm wrong about my feelings about The Last Dragon.
And we will.
Well, you know what? I have watched The Last Dragon since we started this show.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen The Last Dragon over 40 times, because there was one time when I lost a bet. I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen this film on the big screen.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm curious of whether or not the big screen experience
Big screen.
will change my viewpoint.
Right. Time Mike said, I don't even have a paintbrush. Like, it'll hit differently on the big screen.
See?
Like his little brother escapes the ropes. He breakdances out of the ropes. So like on the big screen, that'll hit different.
It may.
Might hit different.
It may. I'm open to the possibility
Possibility.
that I might feel differently coming out of this screening
All right.
of The Last Dragon.
Sure.
Join us on August 1st, Thursday at Bryn Mawr Film Institute, and see for yourself. And that's the only way you'll be able to vote on the next film in the Be Real Micheaux screening series. All right?
All right.
I hope to see you there.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. It is at this moment where I have to announce to you that this episode of the Micheaux Mission is brought to you by BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com for better help for you. And now it is time for the top 5.
All right.
Top 5. Who's your top 5? My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is.
Top 5, ladies and gentlemen, where I come up with a list, I read it off to you and to Vincent, and he says what he says about it. Vincent.
Yes, sir.
We are going to be reviewing Bring It On from the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, all this month, we are going to be doing films that are kind of like teen comedies.
Yeah.
From the 2000s.
Yeah.
Or as we put all of these films under the banner of Summer 2K.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to present to you tonight and in subsequent episodes are 5 things that happened in the year of the film that were pretty significant in Black pop culture history.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So we title this, Hey 2000, What Happened?
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5.
In the year 2000, we learn that Janet Jackson still matters. Janet Jackson, unlike many artists of her, notoriety and more importantly, her age in the year 2000, still showed that she could pack them in on the stages and on the pop charts, where she had her 9th number 1 single on the Billboard Hot 100 with Doesn't Really Matter.
Mm-hmm.
She would also appear in her 2nd film this year, The Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, as Professor Denise Gaines. Doesn't Really Matter was originally recorded for that soundtrack, but became such a big hit that is a credit to why major soundtracks back then were such big business, and it is proof of how prolific that Janet Jackson was. The music video actually had an aesthetic that inspired other videos by Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, and even Rihanna. So in the year 2000, and also in that video, we were introduced to a then unknown Jenna Dewan, who credits Janet for her role in Step Up, which starred Dewan's future ex-husband, Channing Tatum, in one of his breakout roles. So by process of, taking it down the lane, Janet is also responsible for Channing Tatum. Janet Jackson, number 5 from the year 2000.
Look, you never go wrong, Janet Jackson. Love Janet Jackson. Have always loved Janet Jackson. Like, Janet Jackson has been a part of our whole lives.
Very true.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4.
In the charting up the top 10 movies of 2000 as far as box office receipts. What do you think was the highest black film from the year of 2000?
Oh, I have no idea, because it's before Tyler Perry is making films. And I don't think, wait, is that the year Diary of a Mad Black Woman comes out? Did that come out in 2000?
Perhaps, but it's not.
It's not that. Yeah, I don't think Spike Lee nor John Singleton are making films that would be number 1. And I don't know if Ava DuVernay or anyone's. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay. I'm going to see if you can. I'm going to read from the call sheet going backwards, and you shout out the movie when you think you got it.
Okay.
Dave Sheridan.
Okay.
Sherry O'Terry. Lachlan Monroe. Regina Hall. Kurt Fuller. Anna Faris. Shannon Elizabeth.
Is this one of the
Carmen Electra.
Is this one of the Scary Movie?
It is, in fact, the very first.
It's the first
Scary Movie.
Okay.
Was the number 9 charted movie in the year 2000.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
That film, which was written by Marlon and Sean Wayans, and who also starred in the film, and directed by Keenan Ivory.
That's right. That's right. We talked about that. It's a stealth black movie.
Yeah. Very. But is it really stealth?
It's 100% stealth.
Because Marlon and Sean are clearly the stars of the film.
No, Anna Faris is the star.
Well, I think it's more of an ensemble.
It's more of an ensemble, but she's the lead. I think the brilliance of it is that Marlon and Sean play, quote unquote, the black guys.
Yeah.
So that it really is this Legerdemain of, nothing to see, we the black guys doing the black guy stuff. Nothing to see here. It's not like we're in charge.
And then Sean, isn't he that kind of like the closeted gay guy in the movie?
Yeah.
All right. That's number 4.
Okay.
Number 3. In the year 2000.
Oprah
Winfrey proved that she may indeed be the first influencer with the debut of the magazine.
Wow. That only came out in 2000?
In 2000.
It's like it's been out forever.
I know. Oprah Winfrey, she was the first celebrity with the power to sway purchasing decisions based on the power and impact they have on an audience. And she is a black woman, in case you missed that. She was a trailblazer by declaring that every cover of O would feature herself, and also that its contents would feature the kind of wellness tips that you now see on Instagram every day. The magazine's motto has been "Live Your Best Life" way before hashtag "Living My Best Life" even became a thing.
Factoid that I don't know how much you've ever thought about it, but I'll share. We are 1 degree of separation from Oprah Winfrey.
Because of Omar.
Yeah, but we're 1 degree.
Yes.
Part of my wildest, like somehow she's sitting in her gold-plated rocket ship. I don't know. I don't know how rich people live. Like I was talking, I realized I don't really know what her day-to-day life would be like. Let's say she's on her gold-plated rocket ship riding a giraffe, and somehow she's
The rocket ship is riding a giraffe.
Hey, again, I don't know how any of this works at all. But like somehow she listens to us and becomes enamored.
She has a Dylan of her own.
Yeah.
Playing the Micheaux mission
Here's
for
the
her.
thing. I think like her Dylan has like a team of Dylans.
That's true.
And then those Dylans
Yes.
have assistants.
Yes.
And then the assistants have interns.
Yes.
So, but yeah.
All right.
All right.
I would love that.
I would love that as well.
I would love to think that
I would love that as well.
Oprah Winfrey is drinking a mimosa.
A mimosa made from the fruit that you get at the base of a volcano once every 20 years?
Yes.
I mean, like, you know,
She is.
like certainly she doesn't eat like food like me and you. I mean, I wouldn't. If I was Oprah, I'd be eating unicorn ribs every day.
What? Unicorn ribs?
Unicorn ribs.
First of all, no, I'm not going to kill a unicorn.
That's because, you see, and that's why you will never
Be rich.
be rich. Because you don't have an instinct for it. Because you have me some unicorn ribs,
You know, floss with the.
lemon pepper,
Oh, God. Anyway,
because I'm black.
you put lemon pepper on everything. Hot sauce. Hot sauce.
Oh,
And cheese.
And yeah, look.
All right. Number two.
Number two.
Oh, man. The music industry changed
Okay.
in the year 2000 because of this one piece of technology. Begin with an N.
Is this Napster?
Napster,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
revolutionized.
Yeah.
Say the word Napster and you're transported back to a time when you're sitting there just waiting for your music to download.
Mm-hmm.
And it all took place back in the year 2000. It is estimated to have been down. Radiohead, actually, their album Kid A
Mm-hmm.
was estimated to have
Good
been
album.
downloaded by millions by the time that it did drop. And Napster is now credited for helping that album score a slot at the Billboard #1. Napster was forced to shut down after losing its biggest lawsuit to Metallica and ended up filing for bankruptcy. But it did create a blueprint for the streaming services
Mm-hmm.
that we know and love today. That is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true. I don't think Netflix is a thing without
None of it
Napster
is.
kind of like paving the way.
Yeah. 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 In my heart, I still hate streaming.
You hate streaming.
I do. I feel like you should own things. Like it's so
You like the physical media.
Right. My daughter has been explaining to me how important physical media is over the past few months.
Has she?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
You know, they go to college and
And now so
don't
she's-
nobody know nothing.
Right,
So,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, but yeah, I'm a big physical media.
Do you still buy a lot of physical media besides comic books?
I don't buy as much physical media as I want to.
And when you do, it's
Like, I
mostly
was-
books.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, my books and comics, all I do is physical media. Like I'll
Well, you still read too.
I was about to say I'll read it, but like very often I'll read things on my tablet that I have a physical copy of.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more convenient to have it. You know, because I'm also a person that I have it in different
Iterations.
different iterations. But I don't buy as much physical music as I want to. Like they dragged me kicking and streaming. Kicking and streaming. See what I did there?
You did.
Kicking and screaming to Apple Music maybe 2 years ago.
Target doesn't even sell.
I know.
I don't think they sell
They
DVDs
don't s-
anymore.
Right. The irony is they sell records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's more like the gift
Right.
type of situation,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I call myself wanting to return to getting more like I have a few select DVDs that I held on to, I cherish ones.
Right.
And I tell myself that I want to return to buying like some more of the classics that I don't have.
Sure.
Or favorite films.
Sure.
But then I don't.
Yeah. It's still on my like list of gifts that I get. Like I just, in the past 2 or 3 years, I got the Oscar Micheaux box set.
Right. And you got that Godzilla.
I got that beautiful Godzilla box set.
Mm-hmm.
I got Melvin Van Peebles box set.
Okay.
So, I still see it as a big gift, as a nice gift. So, but yeah, Napster.
Yeah, okay.
I remember that moment.
And the number one moment from pop culture in the year 2000,
Mm-hmm.
Destiny Child.
Child
released Say My Name.
That's right. The Children of Destiny.
But more importantly, they released it with new members. Because it was in the year 2000 that LaToya Luckett and Latavia Robertson were let go from Destiny's Child in a way straight out of a Lifetime movie.
No. And Beyonce said, oh, yes.
And were replaced by one Michelle Williams.
Right. And
Farrah Franklin.
Right.
They hadn't taken LaToya and Latavia's vocals off of the Say My Name music. So when Michelle and Farrah filmed the video for Say My Name, they were just lip singing to LaToya and Latavia. The song was an absolute huge hit, and Destiny's Child would soon pare their numbers down even smaller with the release of Farrah Franklin to become the trio that probably more people more popularly know.
Sure.
Of Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle Williams.
Sure.
So there you go.
There you go.
And I know you're a huge Destiny's Child's fan. I know that is a piece of physical media that you have never let go of.
Oh, is that what you know? Okay. I'm not sure.
You're not a Destiny Child fan?
Hey, first and foremost, I don't want no smoke from the Beyonce people.
So you are refusing to answer the question?
Yes.
You taking the fifth?
There are so many. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
No. Love Destiny's Child. Love them. Love what they represent. I mean, you can't deny their importance.
Very true.
Very true.
So. 3 prominent people that we lost in 2000, among many, but 2 from the world of Black history. One, the actress Gail Fisher. Who was more popularly known for some of us, especially of Vincent and I generation, as the Secretary Peggy from the television detective series Mannix.
That's right.
1968 to 1975.
Right. Did you watch Mannix?
I did.
It's a pretty radical role.
It was.
Because she was a widow and there was no sexual
no tension between them.
Like they really had this great friendship.
Yes. And she actually won 2 Golden Globe Awards and an Emmy Award for her role as Peggy. And she was the first African-American woman to win those prestigious awards.
Now, to be clear, I watch Mannix reruns.
Oh, well, I'm older than you.
I was like, you ain't that much older than me.
I watched the
What were
first
you,
one.
like 2 running?
I watched
you were
Mannix.
watching Mannix, you were 2 years old?
I watched Mannix first run. Now, to be fair, did I 100% realize?
Where were you watching Mannix?
Because I was watching TV with my parents.
Okay, all right. So your parents were watching Mannix and you were sitting there.
But I was sitting and watching Mannix.
You're singing 4-year-old Lynn turning to Mannix.
No, I wasn't reaching
Tonight on Mannix. Mannix takes a case of a dock worker who finds a suitcase filled with trouble.
Well, first of all, that's not how what the announcer would say. The announcer would say, "Tonight on Mannix, the man with the golden limp,
Mannix.
starring Forrest Tucker." And then it would and cut to the episode.
Right.
That's how it would go.
Right. Yeah.
But see, what I remember watching, I don't know how much you remember Mannix. I love Mannix because when it came on, it was all action shots of Mike Connors as Mannix.
I just remember we were talking about this with Bad Boys versus Axel Foley. I don't think Mannix was actually that good at his job.
No, Mannix
would just beat your ass.
No, Mannix, I remember him being good. I don't know, maybe he wasn't, but I remember he did. I'm
going to ask you 2 questions with my left hand and my right hand. And my left might have follow-up questions.
I do remember Peggy bringing Mannix a bag of ice.
I was about to say, he always had the ices join up. Because Mannix fought like 4 goons. Mannix would be banging out. And plus he'd be banging out. And he always have like a checkered sports jacket. Like he'd go into an office and it'd be a real effeminate European businessman. And he'd say, "Well, Mannix, I don't have anything to say with you, but I brought some friends. I brought some
like
friends
a word with you,
who are wonderful conversationalists." And then Mannix would be in a fight with 4 dudes.
And then after the commercial,
right, Peggy would give him like a bag of mixed vegetables. Because Mannix couldn't afford no steak.
Let me know when Roger calls.
Right. This was not Columbo.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I like Gail Fisher.
Yes.
Yeah, so who else died? That's terrible. It was
when
probably,
you put it that way.
That's probably a better way to say it.
That's a better way to. We also lost in the year 2000 the great poet Gwendolyn Brooks.
Yeah. Yup.
Who won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1950 for Annie Allen, making her the first African American, period, to receive a Pulitzer Prize. She was actually commemorated on a postage stamp in 2012.
I remember she died in 2000 because I got a collection of poetry signed by Gwendolyn Brooks in either 98 or 99.
Oh, wow.
And every time I'm like, wow, Yep.
Yeah. She was a lifelong resident of Chicago, appointed the Poet Laureate of Illinois in 1968, a position she held until her death. She was also named the U.S. Poet Laureate for the 1985-86 term. A beautiful soul. We actually did a Pie Negroes bit about Gwendolyn Brooks once on Black Tribbles.
Nice.
Yeah, we lost her in 2000. And also in 2000, and it's not necessarily touch on Black history, but it's historical. And that was one Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all the gang.
Yeah.
He passed away in the year 2000.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That is a shame. I'm a huge Peanuts fan.
Of course.
Yes. I've because I have like the complete Calvin and Hobbes, which to me is the greatest comic strip of all time.
I agree.
And I am recollecting Bloom County.
There's a collection coming out.
No, I know, but I'm actually buying like the
yearly
soft covers.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't need the big box.
Yeah, that pretty slipcase is coming out in a few months.
I don't need that.
All right, come on.
But I because
very easy. You're triggered like it's quarter after. You didn't go. Now we doing comic stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't have a tangent?
Okay, go ahead. No, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll have a tangent though. Go ahead.
Look, you can't wait.
Look.
It's ready. So I've been like in my mind threatening myself to get a collection of Peanuts. And over the years, I've had like some collections of Peanuts before, but like, did I ever want to get like the entire Peanuts? And I maybe want to just get Peanuts from the 70s, you know, something like that. But I did go in doing that. I did like go down a rabbit hole and bought like one of those like Sunday, like the Peanut Sundays. Man, his stuff was good.
Dude,
He was a
dude, you should start
quite
at
a
the
writer.
beginning. You know, Fantagraphics.
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
doing
yeah,
the-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You-
I've looked at them and they're good.
Yeah.
To be fair, I only want to get a comic strip that I know that I'm going to really, really reread. Like I'll reread Bloom County. I will read the heck out of Calvin and Hobbes. I don't know if I would reread that much of Peanuts. That's the reason why I haven't bought Pogo.
yeah. See, Pogo. This is your fault. Pogo is like Crazy Cat. Like Pogo is one of them things.
Like you're supposed to like.
Like everyone has been or like Gasoline Alley. Like everyone has been telling me my whole comic life. Like you're supposed to read these years, and you know I get the collection and I sit and I'm just like,
Yeah, I'm not a Gasoline Alley guy.
maybe it helps if it was a depression.
Well, that's true. Some of them are
Yeah.
definitely of their
Yeah.
time.
But I think there is a poetry to Charles Schultz, almost from the very beginning, that I think once you start, you'll read it.
No, I've read a lot of them.
No. I mean,
Well, the thing is, I've read a lot of them
top to bottom.
also over the years. Like I've read like the very first one.
Yeah.
I think I've read probably the first 5-6 years of Peanuts
Yeah,
a couple of times.
yeah.
So I don't know whether I need it, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
So
Do you have Peanuts?
I do.
Okay,
I do. I have the
just the early years. Or you got them all.
well, there was a moment where Fantagraphics was coming out every year
With
the year ones, but then every other year they had like that slipcase that had the two, and I was doing the slipcases.
Okay.
And I got up to, I think I'm up to like 77.
That's probably what you need.
Well, probably,
Yeah.
but you know, I think we talk about his lines.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little shaky,
Yeah.
but I think there was still this.
I mean, his writing was still strong.
I think
True.
I think it was this wonderful melancholy
Mm-hmm.
to Peanuts
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the end. So that certainly, but like you're right. Like certainly by like it, and this is your fault. Certainly by the mid '80s, I think his lines
It becomes a little bit too.
they were
yeah,
shaky,
real shaky. Yeah.
but his that heart and soul.
If you're going to collect another comic strip, what would it be? Yes, this is my fault.
This is 100% your fault. I mean nothing that
You don't
I
have Calvin Hobbes, do you?
I do have the complete
Okay,
Calvin
okay.
and Hobbes. And I agree with you that I think Calvin and Hobbes is the greatest comic strip ever. And I have the complete Far Side. I don't know what else I need. Like I think Doonesbury is real up or down.
It is.
Funky Winkerman, Winker Bean.
Winker Bean.
It was always a little bit too soapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know which one I've flirted with getting also, for better or for worse?
well, you were talking about building our this. We have now completely
We've been
left
gone
the
for 2
Micheaux
weeks.
mission. It's just me and Lynn talking about. I just told Lynn before I was like, it was something I wanted to talk to you about, and I couldn't remember. But this is go ahead.
Because
Me and Lynn talking about comic strip.
for better or for worse is a comic strip that actually ages in real time about this family.
That's a good pull.
So that's why I would want
That's a
that, to
good
get that from,
pull.
because like if you read for better or for worse right
Has
now,
that been collected?
yeah, they've been collected. I don't know, like if they've done like a big slipcase
That's
collection.
a good pull.
But the years have been collected.
Yeah.
And like if you read that comic strip now, the kids that were kids in the beginning.
Sure, they would have to be.
The comic strip is about their kids now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's one I've actually flirted with getting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good pull.
Yeah. I might do that.
Yeah.
I might do that. Okay. Yes.
You got the Flash Gordon? You got the Alex Toth Flash Gordon?
No. You know, my holy grail though is the Marshall Rogers Batman comic strip.
I don't think I knew this existed before this.
Marshall Rogers for about maybe a year or two, because Batman had a syndicated comic strip.
Yeah.
Marshall Rogers was the artist.
Really?
It's never been collected. Never been collected.
Boy. That's why I mess with that Lynn Webb. Boy, that Lynn Webb. Boy, I'm my nerd food. My nerd food is people. Boy, that Lynn Webb. Woo wee!
Yeah, that's my holy grail, man.
Lynn,
When they collect
always,
that,
Lynn
man.
always got something for me. Very nice. I know what I'm going to be digging and looking into.
All right.
I did not know that. What's the 70s?
No. This is probably the 80s. The 80s.
Really? Because I thought
it's I can't remember if it's right before or after 89.
Interesting.
But it's right around, it's like in the height of Batman.
How did I miss this?
Yeah, it's not a long run. And to be fair, I don't know how great the writing of it was, but it's Marshall Rogers.
And I love this little weird ephemera.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Where were? Oh,
This is 100. That was your fault.
that was my fault.
All right, go
That
ahead.
was my fault.
Go ahead.
All right. Did I make up for the meter?
Go ahead.
Inside joke.
Yes.
All right. Now it's time for the Game of Kings. This is the reason why Ariel Johnson listens to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
It is time for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin.
Right.
Six Degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he has 6 films or less to connect them to that other 70s Batman, D'Urville Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent, keeping it in theme.
Okay. And the theme is?
We are reviewing Bring It On from the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 actors who have nothing to do with Bring It On.
You know what? You are in a good space right now with the comic strip talk, so you're good. Go ahead. What we got?
There was a reason why I picked these 2.
It's okay.
I can't remember why.
It's
all right.
What we got?
Oh, I remember. Okay. It's not in theme.
Okay.
But in 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to this Chris.
Okay.
Number 1.
Now, how's Chris connected to?
It's not.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Chris O'Donnell. Now, you can't use Batman and Robin.
Why?
Because give me a little handicap. It's
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm using Batman and Robin. I don't even know what else he's really in.
Chris O'Donnell.
Stop.
Well, I say this because I saw a movie with him this weekend.
Well, I'm glad you saw a movie with him. This is what I will do, though. I won't use
And it's a big
George.
movie.
I won't use George Clooney, and I won't use the easiest, which would be Tommy Lee Jones. Here you go, because we're doing sort of these aughts kind of pop feminist films.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can do this. So D'Urville Martin is in D'Urville Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side. with Leonard Jackson.
Yes.
Leonard Jackson is in Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence is in Thin Line Between Love and Hate
Yes, he is.
with Bobby Brown.
With Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown
Bobby Brown.
is in Gang of Roses with Stacey Dash.
Okay.
Stacey Dash is in Clueless, another film from this kind of cohort of films with Alicia Silverstone, who's in Batman Forever with Chris O'Donnell.
Very good.
So I
You
use
didn't
Batman.
use Batman and Robin.
Okay, there you go.
See?
There you go. All right, Chris
See? I knew
O'Donnell.
what I was doing.
Right. All right, who else we got?
All right.
Running long, messing around these comics. Who else we got?
In 6 film or less,
Mm-hmm.
connect Derville Martin.
Chris Christopherson.
No.
Chrissy T.
You'll wish it was.
Okay.
Chris Cooper.
Which is a name I've heard. Also, let me see his. Oh, that guy.
Large filmography.
Yeah, because he's always in stuff in like a shirt and tie. Yelling. No, not yelling. In like he's like a spy movie. Is he like in is he in the Mission Impossibles?
I don't
Mission Impossible or
I don't believe he's in any emission.
What am I thinking of?
I can't tell you. I know what you're
it's
thinking
like
of.
a spy.
It's not Mission Impossible.
Is people jumping and
You're working it out. I can't tell you.
oh, he's
What
he's
is
a
it?
Bourne guy.
Is he?
He's in Bourne Identity, isn't he?
Okay.
Yeah. Because I see him at that in one of them rooms with the washed out light
Mm-hmm.
with like the data.
Yes.
All right. Here you go. Speaking of him. So same early direction. Following the Black Hand Side, Leonard Jackson, who is also in Boomerang, but he's also in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy is in, speaking of Eddie Murphy films, the I Spy remake with Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Wilson is in Night at the Museum
Mm-hmm.
with Robin Williams,
Mm-hmm.
who is in what's the name of that movie with him and Matt Damon? Matt Damon's real smart.
Oh,
That Finding Forrester is a sequel to Quietly. Remember, because he shows up at the end.
yeah. It's
He's like the real smart janitor. Goodwill Hunting. He's in
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, Dylan. He's in good. I called it Smart Janitor. He was in Smart Janitor with Matt Damon. And then Matt Damon is in The Bourne Identity with Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper. All right.
Very good.
There you go.
This was all sparked because I had this weekend watched Scent of a Woman
Okay.
with Chris O'Donnell and
Mhm.
Al Pacino.
How you feel about Chris O'Donnell? I've never understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's,
Very.
was he tall?
No, not really.
I was like, well, maybe he's tall.
Not really.
I never really.
Not really. I mean, he's kind
Like,
of
remember that period where Chris O'Donnell was just in all this stuff?
like Scent of a Woman is the movie that really puts him out there, and he's kind of like the
I mean, he's the
cute white guy,
right,
next to
right. Like he's the
Al Pacino
he's the
overacting all over the place.
Wow, big
Right.
old bazongas.
But then he quickly, like, I don't know. That's it.
Right. It was like
Nothing.
it's Chris
very.
O'Donnell in all these jobs.
In all fairness, from what I understand, he kind of shoots himself in the foot as far as movies, and his second coming is on television. in one of those the CSI show with he's in the CSI show with LL Cool J.
Just take your word for it. I don't know.
No.
Okay,
He's
all
on
right.
that show, and then
Sure.
but the word on the street is that he was an asshole on that show as well. And like I think
Is Chris O'Donnell an asshole?
I think he may have had some issues.
Oh, that's too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I mean, he still did it to himself. All right. Well, very good, Vincent.
I had forgotten he was in Scent of a Woman.
It was on, and I was like, I don't know if I'd ever watched the movie.
Do you feel better having watched it?
Well, I didn't not like it.
Like now, like you've heard for years that like Al Pacino won an Oscar and it was a Lifetime Achievement Award, and you're like, Scent of a Woman couldn't have been that bad. But then at the end of it, you were like,
It's not that bad, and he's definitely going for it in the movie.
wow.
But I didn't mind it. I didn't mind him in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he deserve an award, the Academy Award? No.
I think that's one of the years he beat Denzel.
Well, yeah. I
forget
mean,
for
that
what,
definitely is,
yeah.
career achievement.
Yeah.
But so he didn't deserve that.
Mhm.
But he's not bad in
You
it.
see the trailer for Gladiator 2?
I have not seen it yet because the Denzel's in that, right?
He just gonna be fly forever.
Why not?
Like he's just gonna be fly. Like he's like 90 years old.
Well,
He's got on like his little stuffy stuff.
mm-hmm.
It's like, come on, Denzel.
Are you hating?
I'm not hating at all. If I was a 50-year-old black actor, I might be hating. Like, God damn, Denzel.
Somebody else eat?
Right.
I feel you. I feel
So,
you. Well, hey, Denzel doing his thing, man.
right.
It doesn't look good. Because I'm like, do I really want to see Gladiator 2? Do I care? Okay.
I do like the fact that they show the Colosseum filled up with water, which is one of my favorite Roman factoids.
Right.
That they used to fill it up with water and have naval battles, which is the most bananas thing I've ever heard. Like, y'all wasting your time with football and all this other stuff. Why don't we fill up these stadiums with water and have naval battles? Like why don't we do that?
Don't give them any ideas.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, is that the show?
No, not at all.
Oh, shit.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
All right. Let's get into our review, ladies and gentlemen, of Bring It On.
Waiting for you to signal me in, or I can go whenever.
No, you can go whenever
All
you
right.
want.
Bring It On. The story of the Toro cheerleading squad from Rancho Carne High School in San Diego. They've got spirit, spunk, sass, and a killer routine that's sure to land them the national championship trophy for the 6th year in a row. But for newly elected team captain Torrance, the Toros' road to total cheer glory takes a shady turn when she discovers that their perfectly choreographed routines were in fact stolen from the Clovers, a hip hop squad. I'm not sure why they're described as a hip hop squad. I'm 100% sure why they're described as a hip hop squad.
Mm-hmm.
From East Compton by the Toros' former captain. Starring Kristen Dunst, Gabrielle Union, Eliza Dusko, and Jesse Dusko and Jesse Bradford. And for the record, Gabrielle Union has second billing on Google, but she has fourth billing in the movie. Bring It On was directed by Peyton Reed and written by Jessica Bendiger, and was the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what would you like to say about your choice of this black film, Bring It On?
Okay. First of all, Mr. Curlish Smile, my choice of Bring It On was brought to you, missionaries, by this guy and a whole lot of you missionaries as well, who over the years have caped up. Maybe y'all should watch Bring It On.
That's true.
Wouldn't that be considered a black film?
That is true.
That's maybe on the low of black film, at least invited to the cookout.
Yeah.
That has been the growing concern in Missionaryville since 2016. So don't nobody get new with me. I never seen the movie, never wanted to see the movie because I never considered it to be something that interests me. And I certainly didn't consider it a black film. But for y'all, I was finally going to take it out of the running and put it up. Okay, we're doing summer 2000 movies. Let's get this Bring It On thing out of the way.
And now that you've brung it,
It's been brought. All right. This is going to be real quick, ladies and gentlemen. This film, Bring It On, is about this white cheerleading team that is trying to win their 6th national championship as the best cheerleading squad in the country. That, at the same time as they are breaking in a new captain, Kirsten Dunst, in the film that kind of like put her over the map, as well as in bring on a rough around the edges new girl to their school, played by Eliza Dushku in the film that put her on. At the end of the day, that is really what this movie is all about. That is the heart of this entire story. Now, stuck on here is the idea that the former captain of this cheerleading group called the Toros, the captain who was only known throughout the film as Big Red, stole the dance steps that she taught the cheerleading, the cheers that she taught her squad from the Clovers out in Los Angeles. We don't see her stealing the cheers. We only learn because the new girl, having come from Los Angeles, says, hey, this looks similar to this other cheerleading squad that I seem to know of. It doesn't say that she used to go to the school, but I just seem to know of this other cheerleading squad, who is the Clovers, who are led by Gabrielle Union and feature the 3 members of the singing group Black. Boom. They show up, they go there, they see, oh my God, we did steal their dances. And then for the rest of the movie, the Toros have to figure out a new dance steps and a new way to try and win their 6th championship, while the Clovers, who could never afford to make it their way to the cheerleading competition, this year find a way through some Oprah Winfrey-ish TV star to make it to the competition, where the 2 teams battle and only one team can be victorious. And if you haven't seen this film before, I will save you the trouble. The Clovers win. Okay? All is right in the world because the Black group proves that they are the top cheerleading group in the country, and they win the championship. Huzzah, 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 the end. The reason why all of you have been on us, and Vincent has co-signed with all of you to bring this movie to the Micheaux mission, is because of this little detail of the appropriation of the Toros, appropriating the cheers from the from the Clovers, which is in this film the most interesting part of the film. However, the film has absolutely no interest whatsoever in really exploring what that is all about. So you don't even really care. And if the movie doesn't care, then why should I care? Right? And if the Clovers don't care, outside of just showing up at a football game one time, then why should we care? Especially when the movie tells you that the Clovers know that they have been stealing their cheers. They know that they've been doing it for multiple years. They know that they have been using it to get to the championship, and they haven't done anything about it for 5 years until this movie. But the movie doesn't care to really even investigate in that. So if the movie doesn't care, then why should I care? The movie cares about what's going on with Kirsten Dunst and Elijah Dushku. And Kirsten Dunst is falling in love with Elijah Dushku's brother, played by Jesse Bradford, who is an actor who I was introduced to a couple of years down the line from this, when he shows up on The West Wing for a brief bit. And an actor who, when I have seen before, he's a solid actor, got comedy, got good timing, and he shows that he's got the chops here in this movie. Kirsten Dunst proves herself, and I think she's only about 17, 18 years old when she's does this movie, proves herself to be an actor of note, someone to keep your eye on. The same for Elijah Dushku, and both of them would go on to prominence. Kirsten Dunst, of course, more popularly known in the Spider-Man movies directed by Sam Raimi, and Elijah Dushku will go on to become one of the vulnerable stars of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So they've got long careers ahead of them, and they all start with this film, and they're all kind of like younger. I think Elijah Dushku may be in her like early 20s at the time that she does this film. Jesse Bradford, very young. But that's really all this movie is about. The only other saving grace about this film, as you pointed out, is that this is one of the films that puts Gabrielle Union over the map. It's not the film that introduces us to Gabrielle Union, but it's certainly the film that kind of like people are like, oh my God, Gabrielle Union. And Gabrielle Union, who's rocking out with all these kids in this movie, is not a kid in this movie. She just looks like she's a kid. She's actually 27 years old in this movie, but proof that she is a vampire, she looks like she is 14 in this movie. And she is moving like she is 14. She moves like a professional cheerleader, and that's because Gabrielle Union, way back long ago, was a cheerleader, and it shows in this movie. The cheerleading in this movie, it's pretty good, I guess, as cheerleading movies go. I've only seen a few, and it looks as good as any of the other ones that I have seen. Peyton Reed, and a director who will go on to bigger things, he's pretty pedestrian in how he's directing this film. There's nothing special about this film. This is not a low-key black film because they don't care about the black story. So again, why should we? They barely wrap it up by the end. I'm not mad that I watched the film. It's not a horrible movie. I didn't think it was especially funny or original in any type of way. But it was a nice introduction to, like I said, Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Bradford, Elijah Dushku. I could take more of Gabrielle Union. I would wish that she was a little bit more funny in this comedy, but she's not allowed to be funny in this comedy because she can only be the mad black girl in this movie. She's not. The mad black girl might be painted with too broad a brush on her role in this, but she's not allowed to really show much. But
didn't have time.
Right. She's not even given time, and none of them are given the time. And I also want to posit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the reason why you may think low-key that this is a black film is because a deep secret that I learned in doing the research for this film. Gabrielle Union pointed out that because the clovers and the camaraderie that all of the girls showed in their very brief scenes together tested so well with this film, they actually went back and filmed additional scenes, not for the movie.
That's right.
They filmed additional scenes that could be edited into the trailer.
Yeah.
For the film, so that you would go to the movie thinking that you're going to have more of the clovers than you actually really do. They are barely in this movie. So that's a little bit of bait and switch, which is another reason why F this film. It's not a black film. That's all I got to say about Bring It On. What you got?
I mean, look, I think Bring It On is a film that people talk about for a lot of reasons that you don't necessarily see on the screen, to your point. I think, I mentioned Clueless.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think there was a type of film during this moment in the early 2000s. You think about this, Clueless, Legally Blonde.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite of these kind of films that I'm talking about, Election.
Election. Yep.
These sort of almost postmodern young feminist films where they're taking back these images of the dumb blonde, of in this case, the cheerleader, and they're trying to do something else with it. And I think one of the critiques that many people have had, these are people that like these filmmakers were probably teenagers in the 80s, watched all of the teen movies from the 80s, 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club and all these type of films. And then these young, mainly white women creators said, I'm going to have my say. But there's always this blind spot when it comes to race, where either race isn't addressed at all, or if it is addressed, as we oftentimes see, Black people are consigned to the sidekick or the little this, that, and the other. And I think part of the reason that people have celebrated this film over the last 2 decades, and frankly, why it spawned a mini franchise.
It did.
Is against that backdrop. You call it Barely in It, but it's really the, I'm going to say the B plot, just because I'm going to say that Kirsten Dunst's love story is the A plot. But when we talk about the chaos in the Toros, this whole deal with them stealing from the Clovers is the reason. Like they kind of set it up with these 2 cheerleaders who were kind of challenging Torrance for leadership and just her as the new captain. But 20 minutes in, as soon as old girl says, this is the Clovers material, that is a central part of the conversation with the Toros.
Okay.
So much so that one detail that I forgot, because to your point, I think this is a film that I have talked about more than I've actually seen it.
Okay.
Like I've seen it, I think maybe twice, like maybe 3 times.
Wow.
But like I've talked about it because the fact that they articulated this concept of cultural appropriation in 2000 was pretty radical. Like nobody, and certainly white people weren't acknowledging that this was a thing. And when you read interviews with the writer, Jennifer Benninger, she talks about the fact that she, she talks about, her, I think her mom, her mom was a jazz musician.
Yes.
And, her dad was, I think, an ad exec. But he, worked in urban markets. So she said and then she worked for Spin magazine. Right. She talked about being in this world and seeing white people emulating Black people and not giving them credit. And she talked about being a fan of cheerleading, which that was another thing. I think this is what really brought cheerleading to the public eye as a sport. So, knowing about this culture, and as you see in the film, so much of it being pulled from hip hop in Black culture, but not acknowledging it. So I completely understand why for a generation of person, and specifically Black people, and for specifically Black girls, this would stick with them. To your point, and to the point of the test audience, the primary critique of this film is that there needs to be more Clovers.
Yes.
And I think everybody agrees with that. And even at the time, as you said, like they went and filmed more footage. Like everybody knew it. And the crazy thing is the film is only an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they clearly could have cut in 15 more minutes and still come in under 2 hours. I've liked Kirsten Dunst since Interview with the Vampire. Like I liked her as a little girl. And I think like Kirsten Dunst, much like Alicia Silverstone, was perfect for this kind of movie. Like, you know, sort of conventionally attractive, you know, blonde, blue-eyed, the whole thing. But I always thought Kirsten Dunst was really smart.
Yes.
Like
yeah, it's a very talented woman.
Right, very talented. So, and I do think there is a level of subversion in this. I don't think it's as sharp as I want with something like, you know, something like you see 20 years later with like Mean Girls or Easy A. But I also think something like Mean Girls or Easy A built off of built off of this foundation. But I can't. I agree with everything that you're saying about when this film starts and then 1 hour and 40 minutes later, as far as what's on the screen. But I do think the Clovers, it's funny, my daughter said it on the way out. I told her we were bringing it on. And I was like, oh, she said, oh, the Clovers are iconic. Like, I do think that as the years have gone by, the Clovers won.
No, certainly.
And as you said, and I think everyone says it, I think the sleight of hand that we've all played is that we've inserted more of the Clovers in the film
than
is actually in the film. So, no, I think it's an hour 40 minutes. To your point, I don't think Peyton Reed it really does anything extraordinary, but you know, I think he does his job. I think the script is solid.
It's okay.
You know,
I mean, it goes from some lowbrow jokes sometimes.
Right. Like I can 100% tell you, I didn't see this in the movies. It was probably on cable. I was probably doing something else and had it on, and then found myself actually paying attention 20 minutes in when the Clovers show up. So, you know, you're real about it. I don't think you need to get real about it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm only real about it because you started this off about
you
Lynn chose this black film.
About Lynn choosing this white film for this podcast.
I answered y'all call.
Because you talked about me talking it up, and I have talked it up, but you know what I haven't done? Chosen this film.
No, you haven't.
No, like, and I've had an opportunity because,
yes,
like you choose a film, I choose a film. You choose a film, I choose a film. And so, like half the time, I've chosen a film, and I didn't chosen this.
No,
you chosen this.
You chose The New Barbarians.
The New Barbarians. Say what you want. Bring It On doesn't have funky bass music to let you know that the black person is about to come out.
Is Bring It On a black film?
Of course not.
Okay. Would you recommend this film?
I think I would actually.
Okay.
I think I would actually. I do think, dare I say, the Clovers are important. I think you can't deny the resonance of the Clovers and of Gabrielle Union's character, Isis, and how she has maintained this space in pop culture. You know, I saw some, you know, I'm going to break my own rule and talk about the chat, but you know, someone says in the chat, like, people dress up as Clovers
they do
for Halloween, and you know what they are.
You know exactly.
Like if you see someone in a, like, you know, I mean, hell, you know the name of the team. I had forgotten Kirsten Dunst's school's name.
Well, to be fair, the Clovers wear their name. The Toros don't.
It is written.
Yes. So to be fair,
right? But you know, so fair. I think I would. It's harmless enough. And you, I don't know why I had to go first. It was your movie.
I'm trying to get us out of here. I have to say that I would recommend this film
Mm-hmm.
for those exact same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize its place in the culture. There is a reason why people still cape up for this film. I recognize, and I, you know, someone who goes to like comic book conventions and stuff like that. I have seen many a Clover running around, and knew where they were from, and had never seen the film.
Right.
So they obviously have, you know, made their way into pop culture, into the zeitgeist. So, and for all of that, their origin place should be, you know, honored. And it's not a wholly bad film, you know.
It's good enough.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good teen movie, you know.
Do have to say, again, and I realize, you know, maybe this is my third, like maybe I'm saying the third time.
Wow.
This
will be the only.
It's really, really sexualized.
I mean, but that's teen movie.
I know, but it just seemed like it just seemed really egregious to me this afternoon.
Well, there are some jokes in this movie,
And I think maybe that was like, I know on some level they were kind of going for that.
Yeah.
Like they were maybe satirizing it, but you know.
Well, I don't know how much it's satirizing, but also the part of it is kind of like living in where they are,
right?
You know what I mean? Giving the audience a little bit of what they want,
right?
But there are some jokes that would not go over. Like there's a joke about the one guy who like
one gay guy
basically assaulting a girl.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Every time he's lifting her up and doing a cheer. Yeah. You couldn't make that joke now.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would recommend Bring It On.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are 1 for Summer 2K movies. One that we would recommend. We've got 3 more coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. Before we tell you which film we're going to be reviewing next week, I invite you to tell us all of your feedback. Email the Micheaux Mission at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. You can also like and follow the Micheaux Mission where on all of your favorite social media, whether it be Instagram, X, or Twitter if you like, Facebook. You can even find us on LinkedIn. We got a group on LinkedIn. You can also subscribe to the Micheaux Mission wherever you find podcasts, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Apple Podcasts, or even on YouTube. You can hit that bell and be notified of when we go live, be notified when we put our shorts up, notified when we put up our edited videos and all of our clips, and tell a friend about the Micheaux Mission. Have them and watch them. Bring us up on their phone and watch them subscribe to the Micheaux Mission, whether it be on Spotify or Apple, or even if they subscribe on YouTube and follow Vincent and I. And you can also join us on April 1st at Bryn Mawr Film Institute, along with our good friend Stephanie, as we watch and review on the big screen The Last Dragon from 1984, Thursday, August 1st. Tickets are on sale at brynmarfilm.org. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcast work, such as ours, which works out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. live streaming from YUNKJunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself in one of the many studios that they have here, you can email our guy Dylan at YUNKJunk.com. That's DYLAN at YUNKJunk.com. All right. Next week here on the Micheaux Mission, it is Vincent's time to dip into the bag of Summer 2K, and he dipped into the year 2002 to bring you the film that took us on the meteoric rise of one Nick Cannon.
Yes, sir.
And also features a lovely Zoe Saldana.
Yes, indeed.
In Drumline.
Halftime is game time.
Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.